In today's lesson video, we are going to be learning the written methods that we use for adding. We're going to look at what you need to do in year 3 and then how it progresses on in year 4. So using place value counters, I'm going to demonstrate alongside using a formal written method. So using the place value counters and the chart is a way to build up to the goal, which is to use the formal written method, which I'm going to demonstrate on the left. So you can see on the right first that I have a place value chart with my ones, tens, hundreds and thousands. We're only going to be looking at 3 digits in year 3. I have represented the number 325 by using place value counters. I've got 300 counters, I have 2 tens counters, and I have 5 ones counters. Now I'm going to add 243. So underneath, I'm going to add 200s, 40 and 3. Now on the left hand side, I'm going to just write it out, set it out in a formal written method. So at the top, I'm going to write in my number. Now rather than writing in my hundreds separately, I will write how many hundreds I've got. I've got 3 hundreds, I've got 2 tens, so that's 2, and I've got 5 ones, so I write the digit 5. So I've got the number 325 on the left, and I have it represented using counters on the right. Then underneath, just like in my place value counter chart, I've got 2 hundreds, 4 tens, 3 ones. And then I'm going to draw in my equals bar where I'm going to show my total. So first, let's look on the right hand side using the place value counter. I'm simply going to add them, which means I'm just going to put them all together. So this can actually join together with the top number. So I'll start on my right hand side first. I'm going to put all my tens together. They're just going to combine. And I'm going to put my hundreds together. Let's now do it on the left hand side with our numbers. So I have 5 and 3 together make 8. So I would write my number underneath 8. I have 2 and 4 together make 6. And then I have 3 and 2 together make 5. So there is my answer. And then if I look back to my right hand side, if I was now to write how many counters I've got in each column, you can see as well I have 8 in my ones, I have 6 in my tens, and I have 5 in my hundreds. So both ways get you to the same answer. So using the place value counters is a good way to help build you up to using the written method. If you can already use the written method, then go for that because that is your goal, that's your target. I'm going to demonstrate this using a slightly more complicated question now. So the next one we're going to calculate together is 245 plus 417. So I have popped my 245 over on my place value chart. I'm just going to write my written method. I'm going to set it out how I'd like you guys to set it out eventually. If you're already doing that now, fantastic. So I'm going to write 245 at the top. Underneath, I'm going to write 417. And I'm going to pop my plus sign in to remind me that I'm adding, because that's a very common thing we can do. We can forget if we're adding or we're subtracting. So good to write the sign, the symbol there. Put my equals bars in. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my place value chart first. I'm going to add 417. So to do that, I'm going to put in my 417 at the bottom. So I need 7 ones, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 1 10 and I need 4 hundreds. 2, 3, 4. So I've got, this is now the same as my written method on the left. I have my 2, 4, 5 at the top. I have my 4, 1, 7 at the bottom. And to add them, I simply combine them all. Now, always start with your ones. Start at the ones first on your written, on the if you're using resources, always start with your ones first. So let's have a look at my ones. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 here. I can't have more than 9 in each column. Once I get to 10, I can actually exchange. So what I've done is I've taken 10 of my ones out of my ones column, and I'm going to swap that for a 10 counter. So my 10 ones can be swapped for a 10 counter. So I've still got 12, but obviously my 10s counter doesn't belong there. It belongs over with my 10. So I'm going to add it over to my 10s column. So let's put all our 10s together now. And I've got 6 there. And then let's put all our hundreds together now. I've also got 6 there. So we've got 600, 60 and 2. Let's have a go at doing it on our standard written method. So I had the 7 and the 5, which together makes 12. Now 12 is made up of 1 10 and 2 1s. I can only put the digit that belongs to the ones column in this place. So I put my 2 there because that 2 is a 1. This column is all my 1s, just like the place value chart. And the 1, which is 110, is going to go over to my 10s column, and it's going to add with these now. Just like in the place value chart, we move the 10s counter over to join the 10s. Here I'm going to put it underneath here. Sometimes you'll see it written here. Your school may pop it at the top or at the bottom. I put mine here. So now I'm going to add my 10s together, which is 4 10s plus 1 10s plus also the extra 1 that I carried over. So I have 6 10s. And then finally, I have my 4 plus my 200s, and together that makes 6. So you can see in both examples, I end up with 662. For our final example, we have 458 plus 474. So this is as difficult as it needs to get in year 3. So if you can add sums like this, then you're doing really well. So I've written my 458 plus 474 using the standard written method. So I'm writing that over here on the left-hand side, setting it out in the formal written method. On my right-hand side, I've got my 400, 5 10s, 8 1s ready. And I'm going to add my 474. So 1, 2, 3, 400s. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10s. And 1, 2, 3, 4 1s. So I've got my 458 at the top and my 474 at the bottom, just like I have in my written method. So let's use our place value counters first. So I'm going to combine them all together. I'm going to put them together. Okay, have you noticed here in my ones column, I've gone past 10. I can't fit 10 into my ones column. I can't have a 2-digit number in any column. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12 here. So I need to swap 10 of these. I need to exchange 10 of these for a 10 counter. So I'm going to swap 10 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to swap those 10 ones for 1 10s counter. Okay, the 10s count, 1 10 is the same as 10 ones. So I'm swapping them. I've still got 12 in that column, but now I need to move that over to this column. So now let's put all our 10s together. Can you also see now I've got more than 10 counters in my 10s column, haven't I? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13. I can't have a 2-digit number in any column. I can only have a maximum of 9. So I need to swap 10 of these 10s for 100s counter, because 10 10s are the same as 100. So I'm going to remove 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to swap my 10 10s for 100s counter. So you can see we've actually got 130 in that column. My 3 10s does belong there, but my 100 doesn't belong there. My 100 needs to sit in my hundreds column. So it's going to join over here. So let's now put these together. And I'm okay here. I've got 9. 9 is the maximum that will fit in. So that's done now. So let's read our number. We have 900, 3 10s and 2 1s. So we have 932. Let's have a look over using our written method, how that would work. So I'd start at my 1s and I would do 8 plus 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. I put my 2 in the 1s column because 2, the digit 2 is worth 1. The digit 1 in 12 is worth 10. So that can't sit in my 1s column. That needs to join my 10s. It needs to join all the digits in my 1s column. So I'm going to pop that underneath here. And then I'm going to add that with all my 10s. I've got 5 10s and 7 10s and 1 10. Well, 5 and 7 make 12, plus my 1 makes 13. Can't put 2 digits in this column, so my 3 goes in my 10s column and my 1 goes in my hundreds column. If you remember looking at the place value counters, that 13, the 3 was 30 and the 1 was 100. So that was actually 130. So the 3 10s goes in my 10s column and the 100s goes in my hundreds column. And now I'm going to add my hundreds. I had 400s and 400s, which makes 800, plus my extra 100 makes 900. And you can see on both sides, they equal the same amount, but using the right-hand side and the place value counters might help you to understand why we only write 1 digit in a column and then we carry the other digit over. That might help you to build up that understanding. If you're already really good at just using the written method, then concentrate on using that. Let's move on to your word problem now. Now, with your word problem, it's up to you whether you want to use the concept of the place value counters or whether you want to use it as a written method. But let's have a go at solving that together now. Ruby raised £467 for her local hospital to thank the NHS. Her neighbour Zach also raised some money. He raised £469 for the same hospital. How much did the hospital receive in total from Ruby and Zach? So in total, together, it's all together, so we're adding. So I'm going to highlight the information. So I've got 467 and 469. And I want to know how much was received in total from both Ruby and Zach. So I'm going to add. Now, if you need to use place value counters, then you can use those. If you don't have any place value counters or things you could use as place value counters at home, you can just draw a place value chart and do different color coded things. You can write in the circles with the 10 and the 1 in them. You might want to make your own place value counters, or you can visit mathsbot.com and go to manipulatives, and that's got an online resource that you can use. So I'm going to show using the standard written method because this is what you're working towards. So I'm first going to write out my numbers. And it's really important that you line them up over one another, and you don't squash your numbers together too much, and because that's when we can make mistakes. Okay, I'm going to start with my 7 plus my 9. 7 plus 9, do you know the answer? 7 plus 9 is 16. So I'll put my 6 from my 16 in my ones column, and I'm going to carry my 1 from my 16 over to my tens column. What I'm actually going to quickly do, sometimes it might help to, on top, write down your place value headings to remind you. I'm now looking at my 6 tens and my 6 tens, which makes 12 tens. Plus, don't forget the 1 10 we've got that we carried over, that makes 13 tens. So the 3 goes there and the 1 goes there. So my 13 tens is actually 130, isn't it? So my 1 is worth 100. I pop it in my hundreds column. Then I have 4 hundreds plus 4 hundreds equals 8 hundreds. Plus my 1 that I carried equals 9 hundreds. And there I have my final answer. And the final answer is £936. Okay, have a go at the word problem on your worksheet now. I hope you've learnt something new, and remember the goal is to get to the written method, but keep using the place value method until you feel really confident. Okay, in year 4, we are working towards we should be working by using our written methods. So I'm going to be just demonstrating using a written method. If you are not very confident using this written method, go back to the previous slides, go back to the green slides and have a look at how you can use place value counters to help you. Okay, so if you're not confident enough to do this straight away, go back and do the green to build up your confidence. Okay, now this is not really any different to using 3-digit numbers. So I'm first going to set it out. So I write my number, and I want to space it out so that there's space between each number. I don't get them confused. So I'm writing my 2 numbers, and I am making sure that they are lined up in columns. Now I'm going to quickly label at the top. So these are my ones, these are my tens, these are my hundreds, and these are my thousands. So very, very important to make sure that your numbers are lined up. And then we always start from our ones section, and we do 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 tens. 5 tens and 4 tens is 9 tens. 2 tens and, now we're on hundreds. 2 hundreds and 7 hundreds are 9 hundreds. And 4 thousands and 4 thousands are 8 thousands. Okay, so it's pretty simple. You just need to write out your 2 numbers, write them on top of each other, do your equals bar, make sure that your digits are in clear columns, perhaps label the top if that helps. Have a go at the first 3 questions on your worksheet. Okay, next we're going to move to some slightly more complicated numbers. So we start by writing in the digits. 5,300. I have 2 tens and 8 ones. And I'm adding 4,400, 8 tens and 1. Pop in your equals bar. I'm going to label the top to help my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands. Let's start at the ones column. I have 8 ones and 1 1 is 9 ones. I have 2 tens and 8 tens is 10 tens. Now, can I do that? Does that look right? I can't fit 2 digits in one column. Only 1 digit can fit in a column, which means the biggest number that can fit into any of your columns is 9. Can't be any bigger than 9. So what I do, I have 10 tens. I put the ones digit there and then the tens digit there. And actually 10 tens is 100. So I've got no tens and I've got 100. So I carry the number over. I carry the second digit over. I've now got 300s, 400s, which is 700s, but I've also got the extra 100 that was carried over. So that in fact is 800s. And now I go to my thousands column. I have 5,000 and 4,000, which makes 9,000. So give the next 3 questions on your worksheet a go now. These are questions where you will have to do some carrying over. So have a practice of those. Use the place value counters that we used in the previous section in the green slide if that helps you for a while. So let's move on to some harder questions. We're going to start exactly the same way by setting out our digits with a nice space between them so that all the digits are perfectly lined up in columns. And I'm going to quickly pop a label at the top. These are my ones, these are my tens, these are my hundreds, and these are my thousands. And I'm going to start always at the ones, at the smallest. Always start from the smallest digit. So if you had decimal numbers, you'd start right over on the right hand side at the smallest digit. So we're going to start with our ones. I have 8 ones and 1 1, which make 9 ones. I have 6 tens and 8 tens. That's going to be bigger than 10, isn't it? Because I know that 4 goes of 6 and 2 goes of 8 to make 10. So 6 plus 8, do you know the answer? How good are you with your number bonds? So number bonds to 20 means that you can very quickly mentally add numbers that go past 10 and up to 20. So if you're not too good at that yet, then have a look at the mental addition videos that we did a couple of days ago to help build up those strategies. But if you're good at mentally adding, that's going to help you with your written addition because you'll be able to do these quickly. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So I can't write 14 here, can I? I can't write 2 digits in there. I can only write my 4 there and carry my 1. So my 14 tens is actually 140. So my 4 tens goes there. And my 100 goes here in the hundreds column. It joins in with the other hundreds digits. I've got 2 plus 8 is 10, plus my 1 is 11. So I've actually got 11 hundreds. Can't write 11 hundreds in like that. I can write my 100 in there and my 1000 here because 1100, if I write down 1100, it's actually 1100, isn't it? 1100 is the same as 1100. So there's my 11, my 1 goes here and I carry my 1 into my 1000 column. So I've now got 6,000 plus 4,000 makes 10,000 plus my 1 is 11,000. Now again, I can't write 11 in here. I need to only put my 1 here and carry, but I have nothing left to add. I've run out of digits to add. So actually this number that I've carried does not need to go here. When you've run out of other digits to add, this actually goes next to it. So you can write your 11 next to each other, but you need to make sure that it's clearly in its own column. So actually, if I was to write another place value heading in, I've got 110, 100, 1,000, and then this is actually 10,000. If you've watched the place value video, this will help you with understanding this. I'm also going to count in my number from the end. I'm going to count in 3 places. 1, 2, 3, and put a comma in. I've got 11,149. Shall we have a look at the word problem now? So have a go at the 3 questions on your worksheet. Pause the video and do that, or you can stay with me and watch the word problem now before you have a go on your worksheet. Louise walked 5,139 steps during her daily exercise on Saturday. She walked 4,875 steps on Sunday. How many steps did she walk over the weekend? Okay, so over the weekend, that's the Saturday and the Sunday combined. That means we're adding. So I want to underline or highlight the important information. So that's how far she walked on the Saturday and on the Sunday. So I want to add the 2 numbers up. I'm going to start by setting them out, making sure that my digits are all lined up. Quickly label them. It's not necessary to label your numbers. This is just to help you visualize. So let's start with our ones. I've got 9 ones and 5 ones. That makes 14. That's a 2-digit number. So I'm going to put 4 there and 1 here. So I can read that. There's my 14. I've put my 4 in the column I'm working in, and I carry over the 1, 10. I've now got 3 plus 7, 3 tens and 7 tens is 10 tens, or 100. And also my 110, I have 11 tens. Can't put 2 digits in, so I'm going to put 1 there and 1 there. You can see there's my 11. I've now got 100 and 800 is 900, plus my 100 is 10 hundreds, which is the same as 1,000. I can't write 10 in, so I put my 0 and my 1 there. There's my 10 look. And then I've got 5,000 plus 4,000 is 9,000, plus the 1,000 I carried over is 10,000. I put my 0 there. I'm not going to carry my 1 down to the bottom because I have nothing left to add here. So my 10 can go here, just make sure it's clearly over in a different column. Now I've got a 5-digit number as my answer. I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3 spaces, pop a comma in. I have, if I put my another heading in, here I've got 10,000. So I've got 10,014 as my answer. Louise walked 10,014 steps over the weekend. Have a go now at the word problem, which is on your worksheet. I hope you've learned something new today, and I hope you feel confident with being able to add using a standard written method. If you can do all of the questions on this worksheet, then you have hit the target for year 4. If you've been enjoying the free lessons and activities that I've been posting to support the school's closing, then please consider having a look at my Instagram or Facebook or YouTube profiles and subscribing and liking to show your support. You can also sign up, if you haven't already, at pocketprivatetutor.co.uk for lots of more free resources and emails sent directly to you to let you know of any new resources that are coming up. Thank you very much.